energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
You know what? What can one of these quarterbacks or wide receivers do for me this year to make a wager? It's got to be the running conditions there for Jaden Daniels.
In regards to Jaden Daniels, you know I was on him in regards to the Heisman Trophy. I actually think he's going to do it on the ground, through the air, 40 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, playing in Cliff Kingsbury's offense where he wants to spread it and throw it. I think he's going to put up dynamic numbers.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
The only streaming sports betting network. Tips, info, and insights to up your IQ. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
New to the Live Golf Plus app. Watch Live Golf any way you want it. Follow any group. Replay any shot. Anytime, anywhere. Any questions? Watch Live Golf live and on demand.
He had 4 grabs in the first half for just over 30 yards, was injured, came back in briefly, and then had to be carted off.
We were pessimistic on Puka Nakua's injury to the same right knee, of that being a nothing, just a bursa, and that's it, as per Sean McVay. We felt there could be a small PCL component.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Hello and welcome to a Tuesday live right here on the Early Line on SportsGrid and all across the SportsGrid network. That includes sportsgrid.com/watch, where you can find your favorite destination and consume everything all across the grid. He is Joe Ranieri. I am Ben Stevens. We are here together live for the next 3 hours up until 11 a.m. Eastern time on a Tuesday, Joe, that features the conclusion of week number 1 around the National Football League. A Monday night out by the Bay in Santa Clara. The 49ers and the Jets. Aaron Rodgers returned not only to Northern California, but to the gridiron. We recap how week number 1 came to a close and our reactions to Monday Night Football between New York and San Francisco. We'll set the stage early for week number 2. We'll go around Major League Baseball. Less than 20 games remain for everybody around the bigs, and some college football conversations as well on this Tuesday.
I'm looking forward to it. I'd kind of like to bypass this first topic altogether here, Ben, as a New York Jet fan, but we do have to dive into it, so let's roll.
Yeah, let's roll right into it, Ranieri, shall we? The end of week number 1, Monday Night Football. The San Francisco 49ers without Christian McCaffrey. We got the news about half an hour prior to kick that CMC, dealing with the calf and Achilles injury, would be on the sideline and inactive for the week 1 opener on a Monday night. But enter Jordan Mason and enter a strong San Francisco team once again. The 49ers still emerge victorious 32-19 over the New York Jets. It was a relatively low total with 2 really good defenses expected to face off. It flies over 43.5. San Francisco starts the season perfect, winning 32-19 and covering as a 3.5-point home favorite.
Yeah, and it actually could have been much worse than when you consider the 6 field goals that the 49ers ended up having in this game here, and a few more of those could have been touchdowns. Listen, good news, bad news here for the New York Jets. The good news is you got to see Aaron Rodgers play more than 4 plays, which is much more than he played a year ago. And the one guy that is the happiest this morning, hello, Hassan Reddick. How you doing over there? Everything feeling well? Because the phone call is coming sooner rather than later.
Yes, it certainly is. 180 yards, for the 49ers on the ground. Now, the New York Jets, with all the impetus on the defense last year to keep New York competitive and in football games after the injury to Aaron Rodgers, was one of the best, and in fact, the best passing defense in the National Football League. But in the bottom 10, the 8th worst rushing defense around the NFL a year ago, giving up more than 124 yards per game. And we saw, even without Christian McCaffrey, Jordan Mason take advantage. A career night in a start, 28 carries, 147 yards. Meanwhile, for Aaron Rodgers, more than 4 plays. That's a good thing, but 13 of 21 for 167 yards, a touchdown, and an INT. Meanwhile, the Jets only running it for 68 yards, trying to provide some benefit to their quarterback. Plenty more reactions coming your way in our next segment to the end of week number 1 and Monday Night Football. Joe, of course, the entire football world was in awe, shock, with the update that we received early on Sunday morning, entering our first full Sunday slate. Tyreek Hill detained for a traffic violation on his way into the stadium ahead of the Dolphins opener against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Police body cam footage released yesterday that detailed the entire situation outside of the stadium in Miami.
Yeah, it was a wild Sunday morning here in South Florida, Ben, because, I mean, they were breaking into television programs. I mean, you would have thought what was going on here. But, you know, much like Scotty Scheffler, who went out and I think ended up doing pretty well after spending the day in jail or the morning in jail. Not so much for Tyreek, but he certainly he went out there and performed pretty well considering what had happened to him prior to getting to the stadium.
Yeah, still a touchdown showing that speed for Tyreek Hill. The fallout from this will continue between the Miami-Dade Police Department and Tyreek Hill and his representation. Elsewhere around the NFL, Joe, it's part of a regular season that you do not really want to take part in injury updates, especially to star quarterbacks. The Packers saying they will not place Jordan Love on injured reserve, but more than likely he is not starting in the home opener in Lambeau on Sunday. It's going to be Malik Willis, who the Packers acquired right toward the end of training camp and who had to take a couple of snaps at the end of the game in Sao Paulo. Green Bay at home in their opener, a 3.5-point home underdog in Lambeau against the Indianapolis Colts.
Well, they're going to have to be much better than they were against Philadelphia with a now I don't even want to say rookie, but I mean, the reality is he was not there. Like you said, it got him during training camp. It was supposed to be a year or two long project. And my goodness, Ben, now all of a sudden thrust under center is the starter. Good luck, Green Bay.
Yeah, very good luck indeed. Malik Willis has appeared in 12 games, including in Sao Paulo on Friday night for Green Bay. Spent the first 2 years of his career in Tennessee after being drafted in the 3rd round in 2022. He's made 3 starts. He has never thrown a touchdown, but he does have 3 interceptions. An impossible situation to be thrust into at the home opener inside Lambeau Field. Thursday Night Football, just over 48 hours away. A great divisional duel within the AFC East in Miami. It's the Dolphins hosting the Bills. Josh Allen, who led the comeback for Buffalo on Sunday, 2 passing scores, 2 rushing scores, but banged up his non-throwing left hand, says he's good to go. He is set to start on Thursday night in Miami.
And this series, especially here in Miami over the years, Ben, has been very exciting between these two teams. And I would imagine we're probably getting a whole lot of points, judging from what we saw from both of the defenses in this one. It has become, though, and I have a feeling, the Josh Allen show in Buffalo once again.
Yeah, both of these teams, I should say, down by 2 touchdowns early in the opening half in their opener, and they both came back. Buffalo to beat Arizona, Miami to beat Jacksonville. Neither the Bills nor the Dolphins covered. A total yesterday, Ranieri, that was north of 50, now down to 48 and a hook. More injury news, but outside of the quarterback position, bad news for the L.A. Rams. The young superstar Puka Nacua, after the record-setting rookie season, has been placed on IR with a knee injury that sidelined him early on Sunday Night Football in Detroit.
Yeah, it just unfortunate for, Stafford and company there, and kind of hard to, reproduce that kind of output there, Ben. I don't know where they're going to do it, but if anybody can figure it out, McVay can.
Yeah, they'll have Cooper Kupp. He looks healthy. I would expect to see that Stafford and Kupp connection that was prolific just a few years ago. Some Major League Baseball news and notes from yesterday as well. A couple of youngsters making an impact. Jason Dominguez called up by the Yankees, their top prospect, but it wasn't really him. It was Austin Wells. A 4 RBI night as the Yanks triumph over the Royals, winning 10-4 in the opener.
And an absolute bomb by Wells. That home run was ticker tape, man. That was huge. Yankees pull away from Baltimore again, so good win for them.
The O's got crushed in Boston inside Fenway by the Red Sox. Kate Povich on the bump for the Orioles. Not necessarily a recipe for success as of late. Boston wins 12-3. The Yankees extend their advantage in the American League East to a game and a half. The son of Roger, Cody Clemens, coming through for Philadelphia yesterday as the Phils walk it off for an area against the Rays at home.
Yeah, well, they better start winning some games here and rolling into the postseason, or we're going to be scratching our heads with this team.
Yeah, that could happen, but yesterday, a 2-1 victory for the Phils. The Braves lost in a single game to the Reds. The Mets won their 10th game in the last 11. If the season ended today, New York into the postseason. More from Monday Night Football up next.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
It's a new era in CFP to start off this year, put on full display.
My take on this game is simple. I know some people will be upset about it. Good riddance to the Pac-12.
Can you do it in terms of a week to week to week?
I don't see a pathway for this team to miss the college football playoffs.
We want to make sure you have those best bets in the entirety of our betting cards. That was thinking! But he had that program was already going there!
Only on SportsGrid.
Let's go. Welcome to the Live Golf Team Championship.
The golf has been mesmerizing.
They are the Live Golf Team Champions.
Team golf is back.
Oh, yes!
Are you ready?
Let's go! That's what champions do.
Welcome back to this Tuesday, live right here on the early line on SportsGrid. Monday Night Football to end out week number 1. Last night in Santa Clara between the San Francisco 49ers and the New York Jets. So many storylines, Joe Ranieri, entering the Monday night conclusion to the opening full week of this NFL season. Aaron Rodgers back after only 4 offensive snaps in his very first year with the New York Jets, now at the age of 40, responding from the torn Achilles, back in his home area of Northern California as well. How would he fare? Christian McCaffrey. The injury update that came down maybe half an hour before we got to kick last night on a Monday that Run CMC was not going to play for San Francisco. Inactive, still dealing with a calf/Achilles injury. So Jordan Mason, third-year running back for the 49ers out of Georgia Tech, would make his first career start. All of that in the final game of week number 1, where San Francisco was still booked as a home favorite, laying 3.5 points, a total of 43 and a hook for the Monday night finale. That sky's over, but the 49ers still look like the team to beat in the NFC and maybe the NFL. 32-19, the victory for San Francisco over New York. The 49ers cover as a 3.5-point home favorite. Again, that total of 43.5. Skies over. 21 consecutive games, Joe, for San Francisco, dating back to the start of last year, booked as the favored side. They cover the number to start 2024.
Yeah, and I mean, listen, it was an impressive fashion, too, because I also believe the kid Mason, one of the few healthy running backs the 49ers actually have on the roster. I mean, that was one heck of a workload for a kid. In fact, I think it's the most carries a running back has gotten for the 49ers in a long time. So he delivered, and Shanahan said, hey, listen, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. That was vintage Shanahan and 49ers. They didn't ask Brock Purdy to do anything out of the ordinary, just kind of be the game manager, hand it off, protect the ball. But it was really two things of note for the Jets. The offensive line held up, so there are some positives here. The fact that Aaron Rodgers, you knew he was going to be rusty, Ben. So I do anticipate it will get better with him in the pocket, because he did look like he was limbering around a little bit in there, but I do think that will come. But the Jets better figure out what they're doing with Hassan Reddick, because without any pressure or the threat of pressure, it's going to be a long season for that Jets defense.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of conversations about the New York Jets. Yes, they lose by double digits, nearly 2 touchdowns, thanks to a late touchdown by Tyrod Taylor, who filled in at the quarterback spot for New York. But ultimately, it was a San Francisco team that was really in control from the end of the opening quarter through the end of the game. We'll talk about Aaron Rodgers in just a moment. But the main area of concern for the New York Jets, 8th worst rushing defense in the National Football League, being pretty elite at every other major stat category a season ago. So no Christian McCaffrey. You thought that would favor the Jets. It did not. Jordan Mason, 28 carries, 147 yards, and a touchdown, doing his best Christian McCaffrey impression, finding pay dirt at a plus 110 price. McCaffrey was minus 165 yesterday morning, as we thought he would play, even hampered on Monday Night Football. Still a short price for Mason in his first career start. Deebo Samuel also finding pay dirt on the ground as well. 8 carries for 23 yards, more than 50 through the air. Brock Purdy looked efficient. That's what he does. 19 of 29 for 231 yards. And again, Joe, there is the San Francisco side of things. And then, of course, there will be all the notoriety that is paid to Aaron Rodgers and the New York Jets. Outside of the defensive issues, what did you make of Aaron Rodgers' first full game since January 2023?
It's kind of 20 months since his it's been a while. I don't count that 4-snap thing in Buffalo a year ago against them as an actual game. But I think inevitably we had to figure there was going to be some rust. He did show, obviously, that the arm is still there. He showed some flashes of what's going on, but no rhythm. I mean, that was the big takeaway I had with this offense, is that there really wasn't any Aaron Rodgers vintage, everyone relax, everything will be good to go. There wasn't any of that, but one can only think that after a couple of games here, I'm not going to judge Aaron Rodgers in the month of September, Ben, and I would highly advise people not to do it. When it comes to October, the first week in October, then let's see what we got, whether or not Aaron Rodgers is really, maybe Father Time stepping in, or is it exactly what he needed to get back into the swing of things? I tend to think October will be a different Aaron Rodgers than what we're going to get this month.
You see the stats right there. 13 of 21. His attempts prop last night in the low 30s, staying well under that. They did not task him with all that much, but you could tell who his favorite targets were right away. Alan Lazard, his former teammate in Green Bay, now in New York. 6 grabs for 90 yards and 2 touchdowns, and a lot of Garrett Wilson early on. The optimism was that touchdown drive that resulted in a Breece Hall TD early in the opening quarter for the New York Jets. One of the smoothest offensive drives we have seen in some time. The ground game, though, against San Francisco, who was the 5th best rushing defense in the NFL last year, not great. 19 attempts as a team for only 68 yards, 3.6 yards per pop. Garrett Wilson, though, 6 grabs for 60 yards, and Breece Hall, who did end the game with 54 on the ground, also had 39 in the receiving category. You look at Aaron Rodgers, once again, as we go back to his stats on Monday night. His first full game since the end of the 2022 season, that was January of 2023. Ranieri, the 2022 season was not kind to Aaron Rodgers, at least in the historic career that we have seen out of the 4-time NFL MVP. 13 of 15 seasons as a starter with the Packers, Aaron Rodgers played at least 16 games. 2022, his final in Green Bay, the fewest passing yards of his career, tied to the second least amount of touchdowns thrown and the most INTs since his first year as a starter. What does that mean for the New York Jets moving on? We'll discuss next.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
It's a new era in CFP to start off this year, put on full display.
My take on this game is simple. I know some people will be upset about it. Good riddance to the Pac-12.
Can you do it in terms of a week to week to week?
I don't see a pathway for this team to miss the college football playoffs.
We want to make sure you have those best bets in the entirety of our betting cards. That was thinking, but he had that program was only going there.
Only on SportsGrid.
Let's go.
Welcome to the Live Golf Team Championship.
The golf has been mesmerizing.
They are the Live Golf Team Champions.
Team golf is back.
Oh, yes!
Are you ready?
Let's go! That's what champions do.
So, of course, as we enjoy doing, at the end of week number 1, are swift reactions. Overreactions? Perhaps. But it's a fun time of year in the National Football League. Ranieri, as we look back on Monday Night Football in Santa Clara, the San Francisco 49ers, even without the best offensive player in football, Christian McCaffrey, still looking darn good on both sides of that equation. Jordan Mason has a career night in his very first career start, 28 carries, 147 yards, and a rushing score. Brock Purdy did not throw a touchdown, but still looked very efficient. San Francisco put up 32 points, won by 2 touchdowns, and covered as a 3.5-point home favorite with making 6 field goals and not being able to pay off a couple of scoring drives. By the way, Jake Moody now in his second year, a perfect 6 for 6, including a 53-yarder as his longest. That is why you draft a kicker in the 3rd round, or at least if you do, he better make good on that price. So let's start with San Francisco, a team that entered this year a short favorite to win the NFC, a team that has played in the NFC Championship game 3 consecutive seasons, 4 of the past 5 NFL years. And we expect them to be right back atop the NFC once again. And frankly, Joe, last night did not do anything to alter that vision for San Francisco this season.
Absolutely nothing. In fact, I mean, there's a ton of turnover on that defensive side of the ball, and you weren't quite sure what you were going to get from them. And the Jets, being at least had been a very good rushing team with Breece Hall and company in the back, you were wondering, all right, well, let's see what this new look defense of the 49ers is going to have here. We know offensively you're going to get exactly what we got for them, but the questions were defensively. They struggled against really good running teams last year, but that wasn't a problem in week 1 here, Ben. No. They seem to have been, kind of like, I would say, week 3 or 4 kind of conditioning where the Jets look like they are coming out of training camp, to be completely honest with you.
There were a lot of questions about the 49ers last night. Brendan Ayuk on a snap count. What would Trent Williams look like as the left tackle, having signed his extension late last week? Ayuk wasn't great. 2 grabs for 28 yards, but Trent Williams was out there the entirety of the game. Had to go back to the locker room a few times and get an IV to stay hydrated and in shape. But really no concern for San Francisco. One of the underrated storylines of yesterday that, hand up, I did not even realize, Leonard Floyd, now on the defensive line for San Francisco, who last year played against Aaron Rodgers in the Jets in the Monday night opener in Buffalo and was the guy to sack Aaron Rodgers that led to the injury and the torn Achilles, was the only guy to record a sack last night for the 49ers. That was part of what you mentioned, Joe, for Gang Green. An offensive line that has caused some worry in New York was actually pretty solid in protecting Aaron Rodgers last evening on a Monday night. So we expected San Francisco to be good. Breaking news, the San Francisco 49ers are still very good. They have the second best price to win Super Bowl 59. We'll look at where the odds are after week 1. And the shortest price to win the NFC crown at plus 230. It is half the price of everybody else, the Eagles, the Lions, and so forth in the NFC. But of course, Joe, our main reaction to Monday Night Football was going to be the New York Jets. So much expectation, hope, and optimism the last 2 off seasons. It came to a quick conclusion last year with Aaron Rodgers being injured 4 plays into the year. But that same optimism followed this New York Jets franchise in the 2024 offseason. So after the first game of 2024, where are your expectations now for New York?
Well, again, I think a lot of this is what happens to Hassan Reddick. Can they come to an agreement, get him on that defensive side? When you're playing against a team that runs 70 offensive plays and you only run 49, it's going to be very hard to get a 40-some-odd-year-old quarterback in rhythm, Ben, when he's not on the field nearly enough because the defense can't get off. So I do think it's going to be a work in progress. And don't we always say, forget about what you see in September. Just forget about it. Let's see what we get come October. And that's I'm going to hold off judgment on the Jets until Hassan Reddick's situation gets covered and until we see Aaron Rodgers in a few more starts.
I think the Jets' front 7 on the defensive side of the football more concerning than anything we saw out of the 40-year-old quarterback and Aaron Rodgers. You see 9.5 for the win total. The over still has the heavy juice at minus 142. We'll talk playoff price on the other side of the break because that is the first focus for Gang Green this year. That's next on the Early Line.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
It's a new era in CFB to start off this year, put on full display.
My take on this game is simple. I know some people will be upset about it. Good riddance to the Pac-12.
Can you do it in terms of a week to week to week?
I don't see a pathway for this team to miss the college football playoffs.
We want to make sure you have those best bets in the entirety of our betting cards. That was thinking! But he had that program was already going there!
Only on SportsGrid.
Let's go. Welcome to the Live Golf Team Championship.
The golf has been mesmerizing.
They are the Live Golf Team Champions.
Team golf is back.
Oh, yes!
Are you ready?
Let's go! That's what champions do.
What did we see on Monday Night Football to end out week number 1, and what does it already mean for the next 17 weeks of this National Football League season? We start with Aaron Rodgers and the New York Jets. Joe, you see a minus 184 make playoff price for Gang Green. The Jets have the longest postseason drought in the National Football League, 13 straight seasons, but they are still heavily favored to make the NFL postseason. We'll hear from the public a little bit later on in this show, but I just wanted to make this point. Still expected to be a playoff team, and I still think the New York Jets will get there. Beyond that, who knows? We'll see how much it is worth for Aaron Rodgers to be out there at the age of 40. But I still think even after last night, losing by multiple scores, not keeping it close like the odds makers expected with just a 3.5-point spread, the New York Jets are destined to be a playoff team in the AFC this year.
Yeah, and I think it's setting up, Ben, well for them because the Jets, if they have Super Bowl aspirations, playoff aspirations, well, they just played a Super Bowl caliber team, and they saw exactly where they stood. So, and a lot of the quotes coming out of the locker room after that game last night were just that we are nowhere near where we need to be. The 49ers are a championship quality team. So the good news is the schedule lines up well still for the Jets. You lose it to an NFC team, who cares? In game one, except it's a wake-up call, which is fantastic. Now you got to play Tennessee, then you're going to play New England. So you have a couple of weeks here in the month of September to get yourself right, figure some things out, and get ready to really start the push in October. So it doesn't shock me that the line isn't going to move that much from where it was after this loss. I do think it's setting up pretty well, though, for the New York Jets. I think they needed that wake-up call last night, and they got it in a big way.
Listen, still the fourth easiest schedule based on projected win totals in the NFL. And, Joe, one thing that Donnie and I were breaking down yesterday that I will find incredibly interesting to follow throughout this year, the Jets, without Aaron Rodgers in large part, booked as an underdog 14 of 17 games in 2023. They were 6-8 against the spread, 5 of those 6 covers, an outright victory. Of course, an underdog in week number 1, 0-1 against the number. But how many more times this season, if Aaron Rodgers remains healthy, will New York be booked as a dog entering a game? The Jets' home opener is not until week 3. So this upcoming week in Nashville against the Titans, the New York Jets are still a 4.5-point road favorite. That's where I think the Jets will be from the odds makers' perspective throughout a good majority of this 2024 campaign. The Jets did enter week number 1 as the slight AFC East divisional favorites. A couple of weird things happening in that division. The Dolphins and the Bills now co-favorites at plus 180. The Jets back by only a dime at plus 190. The Jets, though, have a better price to win the AFC Championship than that of Miami by $2.50, but are behind Buffalo. The Bills have the 4th best number at 7-1. All to say, a lot of reshuffling in the odds after week 1. And it's been really interesting, Joe, to look at the Super Bowl odds throughout this offseason. The Chiefs have won 2 consecutive Lombardi trophies, looking to make NFL history, being the first team to ever win 3 straight Super Bowls. But when the offseason odds opened up, it was San Francisco, about a $0.50 in front of Kansas City. Then they were co-favorites. And then entering the season, the Chiefs had a better price. And then entering the Monday night finale of week number 1, co-favorites were the 49ers and Chiefs once again at a 6-1 number. San Francisco dominant in week number 1. The Chiefs winning, of course, as well. And now Kansas City is in front at a 5-1 price and San Fran at plus 550. But you can see there is that clear tier of 2. It's Kansas City and San Francisco in front of the pack by $5.50.
And I do think that list right there is going to be that we're not going to have to change a lot of names on that list, at least through the first month of the season. I mean, those teams at those prices will move a little bit as the weeks progress here. But, you know, those, 7 teams on that list there, Ben? Those 7 teams in, let's say, 3 weeks, just the odds are going to be a little bit different in maybe a different order. But that's your 7 there. I don't see anybody creeping in over the first month, taking any of those names out of there. And keep in mind, the Bengals have never, ever played the month of September well, but yet there they are at the bottom and still realistic with those odds.
Yeah, listen, the Cincinnati Bengals, since playing in Super Bowl 56 in Los Angeles, have started the next 3 seasons losing their opener now all 3 years, and they have been a touchdown favorite at bare minimum, which means that the Bengals, who also then started all 3 of those years following that appearance in a Super Bowl, lost week number 2 and started winless 0-2. And that would seem to be the case, at least based on the odds for the marquee matchup Sunday afternoon in Arrowhead. The Chiefs and the Bengals, the rivalry renewed, with Kansas City booked as a 5.5-point home favorite. So, Joe, as we go elsewhere around not only just the AFC, but the Super Bowl odds as well, the Ravens moved back ever so slightly, losing by a touchdown in KC. But I do want to focus on the NFC, because you see only 2 other teams on this list of 7 for the changing market after week number 1. San Francisco, a dominant performance, and we expect to be that top team in the NFC once again. They are half the price of Philadelphia, plus 230 for the 49ers to win the NFC title. Philly is plus 470. They got to win week number 1 in a marquee primetime spot. It's Friday night over Green Bay. Detroit got a win week number 1 in overtime against the Rams in that marquee primetime spot. The Lions now plus 550. How far in front, Joe, if at all in your estimation, are the 49ers from the rest of the crowd in the NFC?
Well, I mean, judging just by week 1, those 2 teams there that just faced each other in the big game, Ben, are on track to do it again, all things being equal. Now, a lot can happen between now and then, but I do think after this weekend, we can look at it and go, you know, listen, the Chiefs beat a pretty good Ravens team, and while the Jets aren't exactly there yet, we had a lot of questions about this 49ers team with all the distractions and without McCaffrey and everything else, and they still steamrolled. So I do think those 2 are just heads and tails above everyone else right now.
And so let's look at the Super Bowl 59 odds as a full picture right now. The 10 best prices to win that Lombardi trophy. The Bengals fall off, a 20-1 number. The Lions and the Eagles round out the top four alongside the 49ers, with the Chiefs, the team out of the AFC, having the shortest number. The Ravens, Texans, Cowboys, Bills also included in the top 10. Joe, of those teams that are outside the top 5, but in the top 10, Texans, Cowboys, and Bills. 3 teams that we always expect, at least with Houston taking that mantle right now with the expectations in 2024. Are you buying in on any of those numbers after week 1, or maybe you were buying in before the season got started?
No. Again, I think the overreaction for the Cowboys is going to be laughable here. The Bengals are always intriguing because they were, without a doubt, the worst loss on the board in week 1. But we've been here and we've done this before. And we've seen this with this team. So the Bengals would be the only one that I'd be interested in looking at moving forward, because I think as they win games, that number decreases in a big way once Chase is on the field with Burrow.
So Bengals started 0-2 in 2022. They went on to win, I think, their next 6 games. They finished the regular season 13-3, of course, not playing one complete game because of the Damar Hamlin incident that happened in Buffalo on a Monday night. But then even last year, Joe, after the 0-2 start, since he rattled off 4 wins in their next 5 games, and then they lost 1, and then Joe Burrow was sidelined for the rest of the season. Plenty more up next on the early line.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
It's a new era in CFB to start off this year, put on full display.
My take on this game is simple. I know some people will be upset about it. Good riddance to the Pac-12.
Can you do it in terms of the week to week to week?
I don't see a pathway for this team to miss the college football playoff.
We want to make sure you have those best bets in the entirety of our betting cards. That was thinking! But he had that program was already going there!
Only on SportsGrid.
Let's go. Welcome to the Live Golf Team Championship.
The golf has been mesmerizing.
They are the Live Golf Team Champions.
Team golf is back.
Oh, yes!
Are you ready?
Let's go! That's what champions do.
The odds update after week number 1 is now completed in full around the National Football League. That includes the rookie quarterbacks we saw on display, 3 of the 6 that were drafted in the first 12 selections of 2024 started week number 1 for their organizations. That included the number 1 overall pick, Caleb Williams, number 2 overall pick, Jaden Daniels, and, of course, the 12th overall selection, Bo Nix. I don't think, Ranieri, you would say it was a stellar debut for any of these three quarterbacks in any of their spots. The only thing that was different among the three, Caleb's team, Chicago, got a win, not because of the offense that did not register a point outside of a converted 2-point conversion, but because of the defense and the special teams coming all the way back to knock off the Tennessee Titans in week number 1 in that second half. Joe, what was your evaluation of the three rookie quarterbacks that started week 1 on Sunday?
Well, Caleb Williams was interesting because I think that's the first time in, 20 years that a number 1 draft pick as a quarterback ended up winning their first game. And ironically enough, it had absolutely nothing to do with Caleb Williams. He had absolutely no hand in winning that game at all. It was the defense and special teams that ended up getting it done for the Bears. I thought Jaden Daniels was poised in a tough spot there on the road against a Baker Mayfield and Tampa Bay team that was obviously going to put up some points. I thought he did pretty good with the legs and the arm. And Bo Nix with the 12th man, not an easy place to start your career there. I thought he handled it pretty well. A couple of bad interceptions, but you got to expect that with a rookie. I mean, all in all, for the first game on all three guys, it wasn't terrible, but your number 1 draft pick there was the worst of all three of those guys.
So when you look at where these guys were and the statistical output in their career debuts in the National Football League, Caleb looked a little bit spooked. He looked a little bit shaky, which, as we heard in Hard Knocks, he admitted himself he never gets nervous. You would not be able to tell from the performance in week number 1, making decisions, throwing the football as a rookie might in their very first NFL game. Bo Nix also kind of doing that. His second interception, less than 6 minutes remaining in the fourth quarter, led to Adam Archuleta, who was on the call for CBS, going, oh no, before the ball was even intercepted by the Seattle secondary. Jaden Daniels did not make a ton of questionable decisions. It wasn't an overwhelming, prolific day through the air. He did have 88 yards, utilizing the athleticism and 2 rushing scores, but not many of the decisions that left you being like, what is this? I don't know if this guy's ready to, that kind of thing. So there is at least a little bit of confidence in Jaden Daniels, and I honestly think there's a little bit of confidence in all three of these guys. We did see a little bit of change in the Offensive Rookie of the Year market as well. My favorite movement is not Caleb Williams moving back or Jaden Daniels having more than $1 shaved off that price or anything with Bo Nix. It's the fact that Michael Penix Jr. dropped by $20, 75-1 early in the preseason, now 55-1. Maybe that's not all week 1 movement because Kirk Cousins was so terrible for Atlanta. The odds makers now expect, or the betting public, that Penix Jr. will get a couple of shots this year. I just kind of laugh at that price dropping by $20 when we do not expect to see Michael Penix Jr. at all. And if we do, and not just because of a Kirk Cousins injury, it's a really bad thing in the ATL.
Yeah, let me just point out, while the market is overreacting to everything, keep in mind that Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels, and Bo Nix combined for just as many touchdowns in week 1 as Drake May, Michael Penix Jr., and J.J. McCarthy threw. So the answer is 0, people. We've got absolutely no passing touchdowns from any of them. So let's not overreact and run to the window and spend money on what may be. The reality is not one of those guys on the list has a passing touchdown yet in the NFL.
Yeah, that is very true. And another guy that was not a quarterback expected to contend for this award, Marvin Harrison Jr. Pretty much the same price of plus 750, but the 4th overall pick we thought would come into the NFL right away and groove with Kyler Murray. The Cards scored 28 points in Western New York against Buffalo on Sunday afternoon, but Marvin Harrison Jr., just one grabber for 4 yards. His price still 3rd best at plus 750. How about a couple of other rookie wideouts? Xavier Worthy, 3 touches, 2 touchdowns for Kansas City. A lot to like in that Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid offense. Malik Neighbors, man, I feel for you. You got Daniel Jones throwing you the football. Not sure that price of 15-1 is going to get shorter anytime soon.
No, it's not. And I'll tell you, just keep an eye on another name on that list, Ben, because I thought Thomas Jr. in Jacksonville, this kid is going to be really, really good. And a lot of people thinking that it could be the steal of the draft. And when it all comes down to it, we might be talking about him and Trevor Lawrence more than we're talking about anybody else here. So I think this kid is, I think he's going to be special. And I think they're going to utilize him in Doug Peterson's offense a lot this year.
He looked really good on Sunday in his career debut, catching a touchdown when things were going well for the Jaguars in that opening half. The second half, Trevor Lawrence and the Jacksonville offense held scoreless. Tough day for Travis Etienne, who did have that costly fumble, but 4 targets, 4 grabs, 47 yards, a touchdown for the other wide receiver out of LSU drafted in the opening round, Brian Thomas Jr. And I will just say, we see the market movement in a positive way on Jaden Daniels, plus 470. 20 cents added on to the number for Caleb Williams. He was not good in his career debut for Chicago. But, Joe, the reason that I had Caleb Williams winning the Offensive Rookie of the Year award entering this season is because quarterbacks have a tough thing to win the Offensive Rookie of the Year hardware, because they normally get drafted early to a bad team where not much is expected. And the Bears somehow, some way, still found their way to a win over the Titans, even covering inside Soldier Field. Pretty much to say that if your quarterback, as a rookie, can lead your team to overall success, a winning record, a playoff spot, it looks good in the Rookie of the Year hardware. The stats will need to be better, but the Bears' win total is still 8.5 in the over, still has the juice, a winning record expected. More NFL reactions after week 1 next.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
It's a new era in CFB to start off this year, put on full display.
My take on this game is simple. I know some people will be upset about it. Good riddance to the Pac-12.
Can you do it in terms of a week-to-week-to-week?
I don't see a pathway for this team to miss the college football playoff.
We want to make sure you have those best bets in the entirety of our betting cards. That was thinking! But he had that program was already going there!
Only on SportsGrid.
Let's go. Welcome to the Live Golf Team Championship.
The golf has been mesmerizing.
They are the Live Golf Team Champions.
Team golf is back.
Oh, yes!
Are you ready?
Let's go! That's what champions do.
From the rookies to the vets, the Offensive Rookie of the Year award odds update to now the MVP race after week number 1. Patrick Mahomes entered the year as the favorite to win his third NFL MVP award, his second trophy in the last 3 seasons. The Chiefs looked good on Thursday night in the season debut. Mahomes throwing for nearly 300, 291 to be exact, a touchdown and an interception. And the price has grown shorter, plus 350. Now the number on Mahomes to win the NFL MVP award seems a little bit exaggerated. Josh Allen, 4 total touchdowns to lead Buffalo back to a victory over Arizona in the home opener on Sunday afternoon. And C.J. Stroud continues to do C.J. Stroud things. 234 yards, 2 touchdowns, clean football as Houston wins in a high-scoring affair in Indianapolis, week number 1. Joe, those are the 3 guys with a 3-digit price, less than 10-1 or shorter. Mahomes, Allen, Stroud, all justified to have that short of a number.
Listen, I'll keep it simple with this, Ben. I think whoever you believe is going to represent the AFC in the Super Bowl is your MVP. So whoever you is that you think is going to make it and run the table and play the NFC, that is going to be your MVP. So if you think Houston this year has a legit shot to win the AFC crown, then Stroud is going to be it. If you think it's Baltimore, well, then they're going to have to beat Mahomes at somewhere along the line here and get it done. He's going to have an unbelievable year. Make it Lamar. And we already know if the Bills can run the only way the Bills are running the table is if Josh Allen has an MVP year. So who do you think is going to win the AFC? That is going to be your MVP because every one of those guys in the AFC are better than any of the guys listed in the NFC.
When you look at those prices right there, there are 3 or 4 quarterbacks, I should say, in the top 10 from the NFC. But the shortest number is Jalen Hurts, who looked a little bit shaky in Sao Paulo with 2 INTs. But of the, the 7 best prices, I guess there's a group at 16-1. But of those 7 first names that you see, Hurts is the only quarterback from the NFC. And then Purdy, who was alongside Jackson and Tagovailoa at a 16-1 number. Dak Prescott follows suit at 18-1. I still have a little bit of belief in Jared Goff at a 20-1 price, knowing the offensive numbers should be very good this year under Ben Johnson. I don't know why Mahomes is necessarily that short at plus 350. It wasn't like he was incredible by Mahomes' standard, and that is a standard that requires him surpassing it to win the NFL MVP award. Josh Allen was really, really good against Arizona and frankly had to be 18 of 23 for 232 yards and 2 touchdowns, 39 yards on the ground, and 2 scores as well. A couple of those MVP contenders, Tua and Josh, will face off on Thursday night to start week number 2. 48.5 is the total in Miami. The Dolphins, a 1.5 favorite. Frankly, at this moment, Joe, I'm not sure any of those prices are worth a bet, but I do agree with your analysis that the team that wins the AFC probably has the best opportunity of having that MVP frontrunner, and you're getting Joe Burrow, who was 10-1 entering the year, now at a 15-1 price. He was not great. Cincinnati was awful and atrocious in their home debut against New England on Sunday.
Not good. And I do think you'll have any one of those guys, I think, over the first 4 games, Ben, is probably going to take a step back. And I think that is when you probably want to jump in if you're going to be in this market. Wait until one of those quarterbacks has a bad game or the team loses, and then watch the overreaction in the marketplace. The only one that's not going to move is Mahomes, and we all know it, and with good reason.
Yeah. And that's really the case, right? If you didn't bet one of these guys in the preseason, I don't know if you're gaining an odds advantage either from a longer number or a shorter price that makes you feel even more justified on your early season thought. We know C.J. Stroud is going to be in consideration at a point last year as he was already etching his name on the NFL Offensive Rookie of the Year award trophy in week 8 or 9. He was a part of the NFL MVP consideration. He looks really good. And again, one of the things about C.J. Stroud that was so impressive during his rookie season, how great care he took of the football. He had 5 interceptions in total, 3 of those coming in a single game. It took him 177 attempts to even throw his first interception. That was an NFL record. Hour 2 is up next on the early line.